Hello, good evening. Um, Today, Mitzvah Hashem, we're starting and finishing Torah Chafvav, and we may start Torah Chav Zayin also. They're both they're both um, they're both Torahs that are dedicated on the same exchange between Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanania and the elders of Athens. One of those cryptic questions and seemingly non sequitur answers almost. I mean, like the whole question and answer, if you just look at it from above without realizing the Torah secrets that are in it, it seems to be almost to the point of being childish. But as we know, we spoke about it a few times before, that this entire exchange between the 70 sages of Athens and Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanania is actually a very, very high level exchange al pisoid. Now, the thing is that the thing that needs to be understood is that their questions were scientifically based. I mean, but Rabbi ben Hanania was not interested in no sciences and did not study in any university, and his answers are not based on any studies conducted in laboratories. This is a very important principle that we need to understand about G'dolei Israel and their connection to Torah. When we speak about Rabbeinu HaKadosh, about Binachman, and it is quite obvious from his Torahs and his stories, especially the story of the seven beggars, that we're dealing with someone who has not looked at this world at all. They did not listen to anything that was said in this world at all. They did not taste anything from this world at all, and have never tasted what sin tastes like. But when we read Sichos Haran and we read the stories that Chayei Haran, it seems to be that he was very much involved with exchanges. You know, they told him about Napoleon, and they told him about this, Napoleon about that, and whatever. So it seems to be like Adabah, Fakir. Rabbeinu was speaking about these worldly inyonim more than any other tzaddik that we know of, especially Sichas Haran. There's even a Sikha that Rabbeinu says that the person should not spend too long a time in the bathroom. That should go in and do his business and go out, because it used to be a minhag by Hasidim that they were cleanse themselves before the davening with coffee, with inyanim, and all kinds of. And Rabbeinu said that he also, was into it for a while, and he says he almost came to harm himself, and he says it's nonsense. The whole thing is nonsense. Even if a person fasts the whole week long, there's still waste matter left at the end of the week. He says the Shulchan Aruch says when you feel the need to go, you go, and otherwise they'll pay attention to that. We haven't seen any tzaddik anywhere that speaks about these kind of things. I mean, which seems to be like, you're a rebbe. What are you talking about? But the meaning of it is that, one of the curious things that there were three things that people knew Rabbeinu that said, I don't remember the third one, right? but one of them is seemingly more germane to the point that I'm trying to make. And that is that Rabbeinu would never wave off a fly or a mosquito, whatever that landed on him. It landed. Flew away. What's the point here? The point is that Rabbeinu spoke about this worldly inyanim, like Rabbi Shua ben Chananya answered the questions of the philosophers and the sages of Athens. The difference is that Rabbi Shua ben Chananya was connected to the Torah all the time. There's a famous story about Hillel HaZaken, that somebody made a bet for 200 gold coins, I think, that he'll be able to make him upset. So he came to the house of Hillel HaZaken Erev Shabbos. Hillel HaZaken already gone to the mikveh or washed himself. So he came knocking on the door. So Hillel HaZaken, wrapped his head in a towel and came to the door. And he opened the door, and that guy said, Mikan Hillel. Who here is Hillel? He said, I am. So he asked him, why are the eyes of the people of Talmud, why are they squinty? So Lazokin said, you asked a very important question. And he said, he put his sat down and he said, the reason is because they live where there are sand dunes. and the wind blows the sand, you think it's so their eyes are squinting. And he left, and he came back, knocked on the door again, and says, Mikan Hillel, who here is Hillel? Came out again. Says, why are the heads of the Bavlim round? So Hillel Zaken said, you asked a very important question. This is because the ladies that help the women give birth are not, are not very good at their profession. The midwives are not very good in their profession, and I'm not sure it's a baby, so it comes out like. So that person said, if you are the one who they called Hillel, may there not been many like you in Israel. So he says, why is that? He says, because of you, I lost 200 gold coins. So he said, it's worth it for you to have lost 200 gold coins plus 200 gold coins, and Hillel would not get upset. So everybody brings it as a proof positive that how humble Hillel Zaken was. Obviously, he was. But there's a different point to it. Why does the Gemara tells us the story? Why doesn't the Gemara just tell us, there's this rascal, did this, try to get him upset, didn't work, bada bing, bada boom, finished. Why does the Gemara go through the whole story? He has to do this. Was Hillel here? And he asked him questions. What are the questions? What are the answers? What he told him you ask a very serious question. You gave him an answer. What's going on here? The answer is that same as with the sages of Athens, this rascal meant it as a prank. The sages of Athens meant it as some kind of a philosophical question or quagmire or dilemma or enigma or whatever. But Hillel Zaken and Rabbi Shua ben Hanania and Rabbeinu lived in a world in which the Torah was reality. And reality is a testimony for the Torah. The rest of the world, including us, lives in a world where the world is the reality, and the Torah, in a good case, is a testimony of the reality. But the true Gdolim it's the opposite. Whenever they look at this world, they see Torah. So when this person came to Hillel Zaken and asked him this, not mechubadik quick question, whatever, Hillel Zaken did not hear the world of people making bets, making pranks, making prank phone calls, ringing somebody's bell and running away before people come to open the door. And that wasn't Hillel's world. For Hillel Zaken, if somebody comes to ask him a question, it means mishamayim. They come and they ask him a question, and he has to understand what that question is. Shamayim was. What the answer is. Shamayim was. It happens to be also an answer to that rascal's question. It was obvious because the Torah is the source of everything. The same thing is with the Shua ben Hanania. when they asked them, when the sages of Athens asked them a question, they meant it as some kind of philosophical whatever. What he heard from that is a question that they're asking in the Shamayim. And his answer was he needed to understand Al Pi Torah, what they're asking in the Shamayim, and to answer the answer that in Shamayim it was needed to answer. So it is in these Torahs, by the way, the questions of Hillel and the answers are the Torahs Likutey Moharan, which explain what the questions and what the answers were. Al Pi Sod, what Mishamayim they asked and what he answered. And here, in this particular question, which is the same one for Torah 26 and Torah 27, Torah 26 is very short, and Torah 27 is regular sized Torah, are both based on the question that in the Gemara Becheres, the sages of Athens ask Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanania. They said a chick that has died inside the egg, and the egg, didn't break. From where does the spirit of the chick comes out? Seemingly talk about a stupid question, right? Well, the answer seems to be in line with the question. The Amalahu, Behainu Deo, the same place it came in. Seemingly, Kivayachol, ask a stupid question, you get the answer, but what is actually in this is embedded in here is a different question altogether. And this is what it says in the words of the Gemara. Retzitza, the chick, ze efroyach. In Lashon Kodesh, it is called efroyach. It is, the Zohar Kodesh says, in Parshas Pinchas, there are 3 levels of, this is called bonim, there's called children, there's called froichim, there's called chicks, and they're called eggs, beitzim. So each one talks about different levels of Talmidei Chachamim. And the beitzim that talk about the Talmidei Chachamim, which are well versed in Nigla, Shnayos, and so forth and so on. The Gemara and it goes higher and higher. It goes in the Gemara that I call the Frochim. Then you have the Bonim, which are these are the tzaddikim that are already in the level that to learn Seidas HaTorah, and that's what we says. We say Lo tikach ha'em ala bonim, the mitzvah shiloach haken. They say Lo tikach ha'em ala bonim. He says that when they reach a level of bonim, you don't take the mother, which is the Shechina, from this. What the Zohar says. But here Rabbeinu says as follows. Ritzitza, this says their lashon in Aramaic is ritzitza the mayit b'viyusa. A chick that dies in the egg. From where does the spirit, the soul, whatever you want to call it, goes out? And he told them, behind the same place where it came up. So he says, Ritzitza ze Efroach, ze Pchinas Tzadik. Why is Efroach Pchinas Tzadik? Pchinas in Tehillim, he says, Yifrach b'yomov Tzadik. Yifrach is from the root of Efroach. That will fly. Somebody that is, ready to fly. Yifrach b'yomov Tzadik. Tzadik will fly, will soar, will fly off in his day. So you see, the Tzadik is B'chinas Efroach. In Tikkunos, in the Akdom, Tikkunos there, they speak about that. So this is what they really asked him. A tzaddik, what he understood, that they really at Mishamayim, they asked. And he answered, what they answered was Mishamayim. What they meant, if they meant to make fun, or they meant to whatever philosophical, this mambo jumbo, this wasn't interesting for him. So this is what they say. Shishalo, so ya tzaddik shememis es atzmai. The tzaddik that is killing himself. That is moiser nefesh in his tefillah and his beseeching. From which places in the tefillah, which places in the tefillah he has to do an extra effort to throw himself, all in, to go all in. And he answered to them, in the place that it came in. In other words, in the places where he needs to elevate the holy sparks the most, that's the places where he needs to put the most effort. How would you know? So it says, as foreign thoughts are entering in his davening, and they have to elevate them. You have to elevate because they all represents, when there's a foreign thought come in the middle of the tefillah, that is either a person himself personally, somebody like us, that did something that he should not have done somewhere in the past. So what happens is that creates, a prosecuting angel. It's so when that angel comes up, it comes to Kodesh Baruch Hu. First of all, it snitches and it says that person created me. And secondly, it demands for that person to be punished. What does it mean for that person to be punished? The Malach Mezik wants to come back to the person and take from the life force of that person. I mean, you created me. You ought to feed me. That's the cloud. Man chai, whoever gives life, he has to give food. He has to give sustenance. You don't have what to give, so I'll take from yours. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Noisa Oven. What is Noisa Oven? What does it mean that he carries sin? What's supposed to carry sin? Where? What? The answer is that when that sin comes up to Kodesh Baruch Hu, and it's indicting a person, that the person did it, created it, and wants to go back and take that person's life force, Kodesh Baruch Hu says, you stay with me now. Kodesh Baruch Hu feeds that Avera from the Kedusha. Why? Because that person is not in position to elevate to rectify what he did. When a person does something he shouldn't, what happens is that holiness falls down to the klippos. These are the holy sparks. They need to be elevated. Okay? When there's a tzaddik, the tzaddik is not just he needs to elevate the sparks of everybody else. So that's why all the tefillahs of everybody else come to him. Because why? Because when is the most opportune time that, and how does that particular avenging angel can get a tikkun? When a person is davening. When a person davens and the machshava comes in, a foreign thought comes in. What is the foreign thought? The foreign thought is that particular avenging angel of a certain thing that he did, that person did. Now, it comes to the person when a person is Oiseh B'Kedusha. Why dafka then? For two reasons. The first reason is the reason of the Sitra Achra. It wants to get you at the time we are doing something B'Kedusha. That's the creme de la creme, that's a filet mignon for the Sitra Achra. On the other hand, when you're dealing with something B'Kedusha, that is the time that you can rectify it. How do you rectify it? By completely not paying any attention to these thoughts and just moving back the track and continuing to daven, not bother with what it is, how could I can't believe I did that, I don't know, or whatever it is, or it's interesting if I would have said this one to the don't deal, just go on. That's it. And with this, you give him the tikkun. Now, all the tefillahs with all the machshavas, they all come to the tzaddik. Because he's supposed to elevate all the tefillahs. He's ultimately supposed to fix all and elevate all the mitzvahs, the kedusha. So, and he says, how, at which place, wherever the machshavas come to him, which is really our machshavas. So when he says in Likutey Moharan, that's the reason why we have to judge the tzaddikim favorably when they treat us in a brusque manner, because we're giving them tsar without tefillahs, because our tefillahs come to them, and our tefillahs, well, we all know how our tefillahs look like. And they're supposed to clean it and work on it, and so even our mitzvahs by them is something of a lot of work that need to be done until it is fixed and polished and cleaned and everything. So he says that dafka, where the machshavas come in, and you have to elevate them, there is where a person is supposed to be moiser nefesh the most. The tzad is supposed to be moiser the most. This is Lamaisa, the end of the text of Torah Chaf Vav. Chaf Vav, is the gematria of the name of Hashem. In the most succinct manner possible, this Torah encapsulates the whole Inyan about Avodas Hashem, what needs to be done, and what is the name of the game? The name of the game is the difficulties that come your way are the places where you need to elevate this holy sparks. All the obstacles, all the failures, all the glitches are really a window. Some of them may challenge a person physically. Some may challenge a person emotionally. Some may challenge a person spiritually. But the principle is always the same. Everything that happens is Torah. There's no this world. This world doesn't exist. It's just the outside, the way things look on the other side of the clock face. You know, when you look at the mechanism of the watches of old, and you saw all the springs and the dials and the gears, and it all looks so complex and everything. On the other side, this whole thing is being translated to one long minute hand, one shorter hour hand, sometimes one fleeting second hand, maybe also date. The same thing is with our lives. When we are challenged with something, we are seeing the face of the clock. I'm having difficulty getting up in the morning. I'm having difficulty working on my davening. I'm having difficulty doing this. I'm having difficulty doing that. It is all Torah. And the thing is that when you want to to set this complex mechanism of gears and springs and whatever it is of a clock to a new hour, the only thing you need to do is just move, the hands of the watch to the right hour, and wind it up, and that's it. We have very specific avodah, and the main avodah that this is where those nitzas de Gdusha are being elevated is the tefillah, because the avenging angels, what is an angel? An angel is a thought. The body of an angel is a thought or a principle. So it's a thought that comes into your head. You're not supposed to deal with the other side of the clock with all the gears and the springs and the whatever. That's not your business. You're simply supposed to go ahead. It attacks you again, put more power into it. That's all there is to it. This is our avodah. We are connected to the tzaddik, And whatever it is that we are not able to do, the tzaddik does already. That's okay. In fact, if we don't do anything at all, Rabbeinu says, you cannot without me, and I cannot do anything without you. Which means if we just want to lay back and want Rabbeinu to do all the work, it's not going to happen. If we do whatever it is that we can do, and now whatever it is that we can do is a very personal and tangential and conditional kind of definition, because your abilities differ when you're fresh in the morning, when you're tired at night, when you have a bad mood or a good mood, when you have a physical problem, or you don't, whatever those things go. So the best you can do is a moving target. The main thing is that you're moisen nefesh to do it. Usually the best way to get ready to be moisen nefesh as far as davening goes is by preparing yourself in advance. Meaning you're going to daven. The first thing that you have in your mind is, I'm taking out an hour. An hour. In other words, no matter what happens, I finish before, I finish, whatever it is, I'm taking myself an hour. When you do this preparation before you start davening, the minute you start davening, so the Yetzer Hara wants you, just go ahead and run. That is because we didn't make the preparation before the tefillah to daven the tefillah. When you are saying, listen, the next hour or an hour and a half, whatever it is that you choose, as long as you choose, this is my time to daven, and I don't care if I finish in 20 minutes or 10 minutes, and the next hour and a half is vacant. This is only for davening. Everything relaxes. Then you start from the beginning, you're saying word for word. You may find that it's difficult to concentrate. The only thing that you need to concentrate is just, what do the words that I'm saying mean? That's it. Baruch, oh, okay. Ata, it's you. Hashem, from the very beginning. In the beginning, it may be a little belaboring, which is okay. But the only thing you need to do is connect your mind to the words that you're saying with your mouth. And if you see that you're having difficulties doing that, slow down. What? Yeah. Slow down. If you're saying that you said a whole bunch of words and you don't really have a clue of what it is that you just said, slow down. Yeah, but the minyan is running. And it's okay, so let the minyan run. Find your own solutions. Either you come before, either if you're davening in a shtibel, so you can daven over a span of a few minyan, or whatever it is that you do. You take your time, and you cannot take your time unless you purposely, before davening, make a decision, a conscious decision, to allow yourself the time. That's it. This time now is dedicated to davening. That's it. Bezrat Hashem, Hashem Yisrael should help us. That you will be zoicha, especially now, Chodesh Elul, to devote more time, more machshava, more preparation, and to realize before Rosh Hashanah, you know, we need to do tshuva, and you can't do tshuva unless you actually pay attention to what is going on. You know, reality, as we all know, is taking place now. We're not preparing, it's not a grand rehearsal for reality. Hashem should help us with that Hashem. Tomorrow night in It's Hashem, we will be learning in the Breslov Shul. And until then, I wish you all the very, very best. Next week in It's Hashem, we'll be starting Torah Chaf Zayin.